All right, we're going to roll into our next media availability. We are joined by Martin Truex Jr., driver of the number 78 Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boats Toyota for Furniture Row Racing. Martin, your team has continued to show speed this season. You've collected a victory at Las Vegas and a series-leading 5 stage wins. Is it safe to say you're a fan of the stage racing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely a fan of the stage racing. It's been good to us so far, and looking forward to hopefully getting some more points this weekend.
All right, we'll go right here in the front to Kelly.
KellyCrandallRacer.com. Martin, you said last week at Bristol that you would be really curious to see the data just to know how close you were, how far over you were with the speeding penalty. Have you had a chance to look at it? Because you said it was probably going to break your heart.
Yeah, it wasn't as close as I thought. It was 0.45 miles per hour, so that's a pretty big speeding ticket these days.
All right, we'll go right here to Reed and then in the back.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Martin, to follow up on that, why do you think this year in particular, just in general, there's been such a proliferation of speeding penalties? Is it the new segments? And do you need something more accurate in the car to be able to gauge your speed?
Yeah, I think, obviously the segments have a big part in the speeding penalties. I think, also on top of that, just everybody's just trying to get everything they can. Everybody gets the data after the races. They see if they're, the fastest car on pit road all day or if they're 20th all day. So, I think everybody's just constantly pushing those limits. I don't know that we need to change anything. I think it's good that we have, speeding penalties here and there. We have things going on. It's a really hard, tough responsibility for the drivers to manage, those pit road lights on the dash. And I think it adds an extra element of just, somewhere where the driver can make a difference, and in a good or a bad way. So I like the way it is. I think it's good. We typically don't get many speeding penalties, and it definitely hurt last week to get one while in position to possibly win, but that's the way it goes. Those are the breaks. So I think we need to keep it difficult. Pit road speed limiters, I think, would just would take an element out of the racing. I don't think that'd be good.
We'll go to the gentleman in the back.
Mark Davis from NBC 12 here in Richmond. Dale Jr.'s announcement obviously rippling through NASCAR this week. Can you just talk about the impact he's had on you and kind of how that announcement hit you and your thoughts on his career and what he's meant to the sport?
Oh, man, as far as the impact, there's a very high possibility that I wouldn't even be sitting here right now if it wasn't for him giving me an opportunity back actually right here at Richmond in 2003. So he's been a huge part of the reason I'm here. He's been a great friend throughout the years, somebody I really look up to, and a great role model for young drivers. And, just so many things I learned from him, and so much I actually owe to him. So I'm happy to see that he was able to go out his own way on his own terms. I think, as a driver, that's everybody's dream, to not have something or someone make that decision for you. So very happy that he was able to, figure out what he wants, where he's headed next. And we're obviously going to miss him here at the racetrack, but he's been a great competitor to race with. He's been a great teammate. He's been a great friend over the years. And, most of those things are not going to change, but we'll definitely miss him on the racetrack for sure.
We'll go to Hank and then Nate.
Hey, Martin. Hank Kurz with AP. With all these guys stepping away and all this talk about who the young stars are going to be, are you kind of ready to feel like an old guy all of a sudden?
I'm only 36.
I know.
I don't feel old, so that's good. That's the most important part, I guess. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of young guys coming up, but I feel like I've got my best years ahead of me. So, they can keep talking about who's retiring and who's going to fill their shoes, and hopefully I'll be here to take a bunch of checker flags home.
Is that kind of your MO, to kind of just lay in the weeds and let them talk about all the extremes, and you be there and kind of pick up the pieces?
I can tell you I do not mind being that guy.
Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Martin, the Joe Gibbs Racing drivers often refer to you guys as like being their 5th and 6th cars, but it seems like so far this year, not seems like, it's clear from the stats. I mean, you and Eric to some degree, but you especially have been outrunning the Gibbs cars. I know you guys are still aligned very closely and work closely together. Is there any reason that Furniture Row has been so much better than Gibbs?
Well, I think it's just there's no real reason. We all get the same information. I guess at the end of the day, it's how you use it, how you put it to use. I think our team, Cole, Jazzy, my engineer, Pete, our guys in general are just, right now we're just clicking. We have a lot of confidence. Things are going well. My guys are doing an amazing job of, filtering through all that information and making sure the right things are going into the car. And, the communication between all of us at the racetrack has been a big part of that. So, I mean, it's not one thing. It's just right now it just seems like we're all clicking and we're making it happen. And, I think the good part for those guys is that they see what we're doing, how we're doing it, and they know it's possible as well. So hopefully, they've done so much for us since we moved to Toyota last year to get us going and kind of get us up to speed, that it's fun to be there and try to help those guys and show that our team is a big part of being competitive, running well, making sure Toyotas are up front each and every week, and kind of shows that they made a good decision by bringing us in and making us part of that team.
Obviously, the horsepower is the same. Is it obviously just car related? They just don't have the 2018 Camry figured out?
Yeah, I mean it's just little things, details. I mean, driving styles, the way they're implementing that into the cars and the setups, and it's just this sport's so much about people, so much about communication. You can have all the tools in the world. You can have, race cars capable of winning. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to hit that magic combination every weekend. And, for us, it's just things are just clicking right now, honestly, and things are going well. Our guys are doing a good job, like I said, but we've got the confidence and the communication, and things are just clicking along. So hopefully we don't lose that. It's hard to find when you don't have it, but, those guys have been competitive. I know a lot of their finishes haven't really showed how well they've ran at times. Kyle looked really fast last week and had some tire issues, so it'll come. Those guys are really, really good, and they'll figure it out pretty quick.
We'll go right over here to Claire.
Claire Beelang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. You do seem like one of the drivers that's a young driver and yet mature, that you've been around for a little bit. And I think you would be really good to answer this because you have a young brother who races as well. Can you look back to when you were a young gun and, when you started speaking out, how you felt when you first came in with your personality? And I don't know at that time if people were really emphasizing that, but that's all the talk now. Flash back just a little bit.
Well, I think when I started, it was, a little bit different. We'd won two championships in the Xfinity Series and moved our whole team up, and it was, we weren't really that competitive right out of the gate, and we had to learn, and we kind of took our lumps along the way. I think you see a lot of the young guys coming in now, and they get with the right teams, and I think I hit on this a few weeks ago, that the way the teams work and the communication and, really essentially all the teams under each roof kind of work as one these days, where it didn't used to be that way. So I think we see these young guys that get great opportunities really come out of the gate strong, competitive. We see what they're doing. It's been amazing to watch them. It's almost like, they've been out here for 10 years already. So I think it's a lot different today starting out with the big teams than it was when I did. But, at the same time, it's I remember those days like it was yesterday. It wasn't that long ago. And, I remember having a lot of fun. I remember it being feeling a lot of pressure, just because of, it's the Cup Series, the expectations, your job's on the line each and every week, it seemed like, especially, back then. So definitely a lot different feeling these days.
Were you one that would have let your personality out, or would have asked questions, or, kind of been more vocal at the time? Or did you come in slow in your mind and kind of holding back until you felt like you could be who you were?
No, I was comfortable with, where I was and the teams I was with and things like that. So, I don't think I've ever really changed my mindset or my approach that much. And, I don't think I'm a whole lot different today than I was then. I think I'm a whole lot smarter, but, I wouldn't say I talk anymore or do things much differently, off the racetrack or away from my race team.
All right. Any more questions for Martin? All right. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.